Thank you. That was Sir Jaykaran Kawa on the tabla and Shri Chandrasekhar sir on harmonium. Now I would like to take a moment to extend a special welcome to our mentor, Dr. A.K. Sharma, our esteemed regional officer, Bharati Vidya Bhavan, Delhi. We really appreciate sir's dedication to improving education, which has been the key in shaping these training sessions. Thank you so much, sir, for the opportunities that you keep giving us. I would take this privilege to welcome our presiding officer for the session, Mrs. Indu Kaushik. Mrs. Indu Kaushik has joined us now. Ma'am is a former Assistant Commissioner of Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan. Mrs. Kaushik has dedicated her career to advancing educational excellence.
Deputy Commissioner.
Deputy Commissioner of KVs, I apologize. And she's dedicated to her career to advancing educational excellence and fostering an environment where both students and teachers can thrive. Her extensive experience in educational administration and her support will greatly enrich our discussions on this important subjects. We welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. Please continue.
And before I introduce our keynote speaker, just one small instruction. To help us hear our speakers clearly, please keep your microphones muted or else, unless you are taking the spotlight. So it's my distinct privilege to introduce our esteemed keynote speaker, Mrs. Ajayshree Sharma. Mrs. Ajayshree Sharma is a distinguished leader in education, currently serving as principal at Bharati Vidya Bhavan Vidya Ashram Pratapnagar. As a highly regarded CBSE resource person, she has conducted numerous workshops, imparting her expertise and passion for teaching. As an executive member of Indian Association of Physics, Mrs. Sharma contributes significantly to the advancement of education. Her role as a panelist in JECRC's internship program showcases her commitment to mentoring the next generation. With a keen eye for detail, Mrs. Sharma has served as a CBSE head examiner for physics and is recognized for her contributions to the CBSE physics marking scheme. As Dean of Students' Welfare, she has coordinated diverse activities ranging from sports and cultural events to international collaborations, while engaging parents to foster a supportive academic community. She has organized science exhibitions and educational trips, promoting experiential learning among students. Mrs. Sharma's dedication to professional growth is evident through her certifications in school leadership, competency-based education, and health and well-being. She's also certified in engaging parents and communities for foundational literacy and numeracy, along with learning outcomes in pedagogy, including toy-based and environmental studies. Her commitment to innovation is further highlighted by her completion of courses in experiential learning, school education initiatives, and ICT in teaching. To her active participation in national level workshops, ma'am continues to derive excellence and inspire those around us. We are truly honored to have ma'am Ajayshree Sharma with us today. Her wealth of experience and education will undoubtedly inspire and provide valuable insights for our workshop. Please join me in welcoming ma'am Ajayshree Sharma.
Namaskar, sir. I'll take a moment to share my screen. Thank you very much, Deepali ma'am. And thanks to Dr. Sharma for giving me this opportunity. Namaskar to Indu Kaushik ma'am for being here. Namaskar ma'am. Sir, with your due permission, can I start? And I am audible?
Yes.
Yes.
So this is related with the NCF part B, which is school culture and processes. I do not require any stage to be set for this because the context towards this session or this topic was set 4 years ago when NEP was launched, and subsequently we had NCF, which is the detailing as to how NEP should be implemented in different schools. We have read about NEP, we have attended number of sessions, and towards implementation now, we are all striving, we have all started. School culture and processes in these are the things which we would be discussing. And these are also the learning outcomes for all of us. School culture. So by the end of this session, we would be knowing about school culture as to what does it mean, what are the different components of school culture, what practices we should adopt for a good school culture. And the second part is related with the school processes. Again, what are the different processes happening in the schools? We all are aware. It is just that how we should be reforming, transforming these processes and the school culture, that is what is the need of the hour. What are different types of processes? How we can improve school culture and processes. So we start with part 1. And what do we mean by school culture? If we go by definition, then it is quite a lengthy definition which we are seeing on the screen. It says that term school culture generally refers to the beliefs, perceptions, relationships, attitudes, and written and unwritten rules that shape and influence every aspect of how a school functions. But the term also encompasses more concrete issues such as the physical and emotional safety of the students, the orderliness of classrooms and public spaces, or the degree to which a school embraces and celebrates ethnic, linguistic, or cultural diversity. In a simpler way, it is the vibe that puts out. When we enter a school, how does a school look like? That describes the culture. What are the feelings and emotions as you enter that space? How are you seeing the children when they are entering the school? How is the atmosphere of the school in terms of the ambience, the cleanliness, the vibe, you can say? So whether the children are entering with happy faces or they feel tense and stressed, that says about the school culture. That is part of the school culture. Students entering inside the school premises, whether they are being greeted by their teachers. We as teachers think that every time when the students are coming, or we are seeing the students in the campus, they should be greeting us. Why not we make a start? Why not we start greeting them before they do so? Entering the school, whether you are having music being played inside the school, so that when they are entering, they have a pleasant feeling. How they are being taken inside the classes, how we are taking care of their safety and security in the classroom, on the fields, and otherwise. That all tells us about the school culture. These are the everyday things which we are doing on day-to-day basis that forms the school culture. If we broadly categorize, then the components of school culture can be divided into three main categories of relationships, the symbols, arrangement, and practices which we are having in the school. Now we are talking about the relationships. What are the different types of relationships we encounter or we have inside a school? The first and foremost is teacher-student. We all must have seen this movie, Tare Zameen Par. What my fellow educators think about the relationship which the teacher in that movie and the student in that.
Excuse. There seems to be some disturbance somewhere. Can I request all the participants to kindly mute their microphones so that there is a smooth and focused session for all of us? We do not want to accidentally join any family conversation here.
Continue, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So I had a question for all you teachers. What kind of a relationship this teacher and the team had? What were the specific qualities of this teacher, which we all should be having as teachers? Anybody?
Namaskar, ma'am. Pallavi this side.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, the teacher is very observant because
Mhm.
out of all the students, he observed that the boy was a bit introvert and was not taking interest, and he was not able to understand and frame the letters. So when he observed the notebooks, he came to know that there was a slight difference between the letters he was making. So he realized that he needs special attention.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone
Yes,
else
thank you.
wants to add up to it? So this teacher had a supportive bond with the student. He was empathetic towards the student. He knew what are his needs and where he wants the support, where he has to be a friendly uh, teacher to him. So that is how we should be tackling different kinds of students which we are having in the classroom. Not only the ones with which are of a special need, but every individual in the class is different and unique, and they have their different needs. We as teachers should be knowing, as Pallavi ma'am said, we should be observant enough to see as to what the child wants, what are his needs, what is his learning style, and accordingly, we should be having in our teaching variety and choices for the students. If we talk about the summative assessments, which we time to time have during the teaching, which are generally for the bridging the gap between the learnings of the students. And in these summative assessments, we should again have a variety. Depending on the types of needs which the students in a particular class they are having, we should give them choices. Even in the assignments, we should give them choices. Say, suppose for a particular topic, a child can be given to draw something. A group of students can be given to analyze the topic or the data which is given to them, derive a meaning out of it, and then some of the students in the class may be asked to present that in front of the entire class. So what we are learning, what we are saying, all those 5 C's and 3 C's and 4 R's we talk about, we should be knowing to implement that the students. Whatever be the type of a student, there may be some naughty students in the class. But if the teacher knows how to tackle those students, what are their needs, how to handle them, they would also listen to the teacher. And it is quite a common experience of all of us that the same class behaves in a proper manner and the learning graph is quite good for a particular teacher, whereas some other teacher struggles while going to that particular section. So it is for us to know as to how to deal with different types of students, because we all have uh, studied about the multiple intelligences of Howard Gardner, and we know that the children, some children would be kinesthetic, some would be musical, some could be spatial children. So depending on the type of students, when we are planning our lessons, we should take care, knowing about that particular section or class. We should know how we have to plan that lesson, how the activities have to be planned for a particular section of the class. The second and very important relationship which we have in the schools is that of the peers. It is said that the same age group, if they learn better. And that is why we are emphasizing on peer learning. When a student teaches another student, they learn better because maybe the understanding level, the emotional level, they are at par with each other. So we should give opportunity to the students for number of times, for number of topics that the students learn from each other. Have some group tasks given during the class as well, where the students learn from each other, they know how to collaborate. Talking about the collaboration, and we are at Bhavans, we are believing in the fact that let the knowledge come from all directions, from all sides. Ano Bhadra Kratvo Yantu Vishwato. That is what we say. And that reminds me of uh, an incident, you can say, or a story where from the mythology, Indian mythology, where Sanjeevani Vidya, which was known by Shukracharya, which was the guru of or Acharya of demons. But Brihaspati, because Brihaspati Dev, who was the Acharya of Devas, he had sent his son to Shukracharya for learning this particular Sanjeevani Vidya. So there we are not seeing, wherever we can get the knowledge from, we should be taking that knowledge. And that is what we learn at Bhavans. Next is parents and teachers relationships. How comfortable the parents are. When we as parents go to the parent-teacher meeting or otherwise to the schools of our children, what do we expect from the school, from the teachers, or from the principal? Anyone? You all must be going to the parent-teacher meetings. What do we want? Everyone wants to be welcomed, first of all. We should not be in a hurry to complete the number of students or number of parents which we are to meet. In certain schools, it is seen that there is a alarm bell. When the parents are coming to meet the teachers, then the class teacher has given the slots that we also give. In every school, we are giving time slots to the parents so that at the same time, we do not have too much of number of parents waiting. We do not want them to wait for a longer while. But do we ask them to stop once their time slot is over? We do not. And in some of the cases, if it is a bell ringing, then it is offending to the parent. When we are going to the schools of our children, what are we wanting? The same we should be giving to the parents, those who are coming to our institution. There are a number of things apart from the grades. Generally, the parent-teacher meetings are after every major examination which is happening. And we are eager to tell the parents as to how the child has done in the examination. But there are many other things about the child, about his growth, because the results are not equivalent to the learning or the growth of the child. Say, suppose a child had secured in the first test or first class test, the child had secured, say, 10 marks out of 25. And in the half yearly examination or the next test, say, same marks, 25 marks test, he is securing, say, 18 marks. 10 to 18 is quite a good percentage increase. And we should congratulate the child as well as the parent for the growth which the child has shown. It should not always be that the child should be at least securing 20 marks or say 70 marks, 70% or 80% marks, then only the child is doing. small growth of the child should be acknowledged, and parents should also be thanked. The gratitude should be shown to them for their support, because of which the child is growing, child is learning, child is doing better in the examination. Not only in the examination, it should be, if the child, say, suppose he is helping another child in the class, that also should be brought to the notice of the parents. There are number of things on day-to-day basis for the children which we are observing in the class, in the corridors, onto the fields. He is performing well in the games. That also should be told to the parents. The parent-teacher meeting is not only the time when we should be talking to the parents. There are a number of other occasions when the parents are coming. Informal functions, when we informally meeting them, then also the parents should be feeling comfortable, and they should be welcomed in the school. So what could be these kind of interactions? Maybe we can call the parents for some small talk in a classroom, or maybe in the auditorium, we can have some session with the parent who is expert in a particular field. We can also have the interaction with the parents during the functions which we are having. Maybe we design an activity where the students and the parents are working together, or they are participating in the activity together. So we should have cordial relations with the parents, and we should involve them in the learning of the child, because half the time child is at home, the 8 hours or 7 hours, the child is with us. So two of us, if we work together, the school as well as the parents, then only the proper growth of the child will happen. So we should make them partners in the growth of the child. And of course, the relationship with the management of the teachers should also be cordial. Teachers should not be afraid of reaching out to the principal for their maybe any concern which is there, or maybe some achievement which they have, or maybe with some student they are facing difficulty, or at home they are not comfortable, they have some issues at home. So that also, because we are human beings, we do have emotions. Maybe in the meetings we would be saying that we should know to control our emotions, but we as human beings, sometimes we do have the outburst of our emotions. And we as a community, we should know to handhold each other in those weak times and should help each other. And for that, the principals and teachers, we are all one. We are all teachers actually. It is only the tasks given to us are different in the school. So all the teachers, you should reach out, have communication with your management and principal. I hope the slide has changed.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, it
Inspiring.
has changed. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
The next component of the culture is symbols which we have in the school. There are number of displays, would be outside signboard where the school name is written, how artistically and you have done that board, or some student achievements which are there outside or at the reception, in the corridors, what kind of displays you are having, or in the classrooms, what kind of displays you are having. That also tells about the school culture. Whether you are giving, these are the things to which you are giving value. You are believing in these things. That is why these are being displayed in your corridors or on the notice boards. So it could be some inspiring people from maybe the freedom fighters to some social reformers to the ancient Indian scientists. I would urge all the science teachers to go through the Indian literature, ancient Indian literature, and find out and correlate. Like when we talk about gravitation, we are teaching gravitation to the students. We always associate gravitation with Newton. But much beyond that, Indian scientists in Aryabhati, it was mentioned what the Gurutwakarshan in Hindi we call it. So what is Gurutwakarshan and how it happens? The Newton's laws, 3 laws of motion. These were also, started or they were taught by the Indian scientists or Indian rishis in the ancient times. So all this Indian knowledge should also be told to the students while we are teaching. So this is one kind of displays which we have in the schools. Then it could be some more inspiring peoples here. You have some entrepreneurs. Munshiji's photograph in all Bhavan schools we have because we go by his vision and values. Then you have entrepreneurs, whether you are giving value to that, whether you are giving value to the skill development in the school, or you are encouraging students to become entrepreneurs of the future India. The other kind of symbols could be the quotations. What kind of quotations you are having in the corridors displays or in the classrooms, that also tells about the school culture. We are saying experiential learning. Is that vision when you are having your school's vision? First of all, whether that vision has been reached out to the school community, which includes not only the teachers and students, but the office staff, the helping staff which we are having in the school. Do they know about the vision of the school and the mission? That is how we will be reaching out to that vision which we have set for ourselves. So that should be a shared vision for all of us, and how we implement that in day-to-day working, that also has to be seen. Thanks to SPOF, which has come, now we are having the internal audits for the different domains which we are having. We all are doing that in the schools. Only thing is the documentation which is there, and whether we are aligning our day-to-day practices with the vision which we have set for ourselves. So whether it is the lesson planning, whether it is the teaching strategies which we are using, whether it is the kind of activities we have planned for the students throughout the session, or the maybe some videos which we are showing to the children, some TED Talks it could be, or some other videos which we are showing to the children, the kind of case studies we are discussing in the school, all that should be aligned with the vision of the school. If I say excellence in education is the vision, a part of our vision, then what all are we doing towards that education? If we are saying 21st century skills be developed in the students, then what are we doing towards that? Are we incorporating them in the lesson planning? Are we having some activities which are woven around some kind of these skills? How values are being inculcated in the students through the lesson which we are teaching in maybe biology or physics or any other subject. So values will not be taught separately to the children. It is so that is why the lesson planning is a very, very important task, and it should not be only for the sake of writing that we have written that 21st century skill. Critical thinking will be developed through this particular topic or this class. The critical thinking will be developed. But how, through which activity will it be developed? That also has to be taken care of and elaborated in the lesson plan. So the type of quotations which we are having, the kind of activities which we are having in the schools, they all should be aligned with the vision then we can say that it is a shared vision. Each one in the school is working towards that vision and each one knows about it. Many of the times, some or many of the teachers or students might not be knowing about what the vision of the school, mission of the school is. Though it is put up as displays on different walls at different places in the school. But then when it comes to implementing that, we somehow do not, after some time we forget about it, that this also has to be taken into account, that everything which we are doing should be aligned in that direction. That is the direction we have set for ourselves, and we should move in that direction wholeheartedly and altogether. So that is the other kind of symbols which we have in the classrooms. The class rules which we display when we are saying that each student is special to us. Is your class board telling the students about how you are keeping your class boards? Are you checking that every day, that it is in the same state in which it was done up when initially you had put some posters or maybe the student drawings or student charts onto the soft board in the classroom? Whether the class rules have been made by the common consensus of all the students, whether the policies to take care of the unwanted behavior of the children in the school premises, that has been discussed with the students. Are we making the students a partner in the decision making? That also has to be seen. So better it would be that if the students are involved in making the class rules, they would better be following that. And if not, it is always told to us that we should praise the child in front of the entire class. But then when we have to confront, I would not say confront, it is these days we call it care front, confronting with care, or keeping the that care of the child in mind. We are telling that this is not the right kind of a behavior from the child's side. So the students, they should be told about their mistakes, the errors which they are committing, or the behavior which is not desirable in the school premises. That should be told to them by calling them to separately, calling them maybe to the staff room, or maybe in some other class, or in isolation. That should be done. Next in the school culture is the arrangements and practices. The classroom seating arrangements, these are different kinds of arrangements. Now I know I also discussed when we are discussing with the teachers that the class size and the room size, sometimes it does not permit us to have the kind of seating arrangement which we are wanting. But we can always plan some days where we are pre-planned, and in our lesson planning, we have mentioned that particular day, that this time or on this day, we would be having a group activity, and some of the students can be made responsible to have that kind of a seating in the classroom. So wherever possible, we must have group seating, and the discussions should happen in the classroom in different groups of children. Also, we have to check the cleanliness of the classroom. When we are as subject teachers or as class teachers, we should be having zero tolerance for the untidiness of the classroom. We sometimes become indifferent when a piece of paper is lying on the floor. Why? Why can't we pick it up and put it in the dustbin? That is how you will be a role model. That is how the children learn, by seeing, as much as they will not be learning by whatever we are preaching or telling them to do. So you become a role model for the children. Availability of the and accessibility of the teaching learning materials. Sometimes it so happens that the resource room is on the other floor and our classes are on the other floor, and we are running around for taking those resources which we have to take to the class. So we as administrators and the teachers, coordinators, we should make sure that the teaching learning material is available to the teachers well in time, and teachers also should be well planned before they go to the class. Giving responsibility to the students in learning process. It should not always be the teachers that we had attended one session recently where it was told that we are no longer the sage on the stage. We are the guides onto the sides of the children. And therefore, we should be giving some responsibilities to the students in the learning process. And during the class, it could be some presentation by the child, or maybe you give some time for them to discuss as a group of 5 students together, and then that topic may be presented by one of them and to the entire class. The learning rituals. The students should feel relaxed and focused and not tense and intimidating or intimidated. There are cases where some of the teachers keep the class very relaxed. It will not be finger on the lips type of a class. We do not want that kind of a discipline in the class where the children are forbidden from speaking. We should have healthy discussions going on in the class. We should have laughter in the class. That joyful learning which we talk about, that toy-based learning which we are talking about, we can have some games which are given to the children and they are enjoying in the class. And at the same time, there would be some teachers, those who would just be telling them, first of all, you have not done this, you have not done this. And then the children also, they don't feel interested in those kind of classes. So too much of preaching should not be done. Sometimes we have to be friends with the students. This is, I'm sorry, this is not part of the classroom management. These are the arrangements and practices in the different areas that, because it was the duplicate slide which was made, so the same topic has come. I'm sorry for that. So school assemblies, these are very, very important. I remember when Dr. Sharma had come to our school during the assembly when we were having the Vedic prayer, and he had asked the students, if you know the meaning of the shlokas which you are reciting during the assembly. And then after we had started with the practice that, thanks to our Sanskrit teacher, Mr. Manish God, who has taken it up as a task that every assembly he would be taking up 1 or 2 shlokas, because over a period of time, even if we have learned that meaning, if we have known that meaning, after some time we tend to forget that. So time and again they are to be told about what the meaning of that particular shloka is and what the correct pronunciation for that is. School assemblies should also be used for disseminating the information about the school activities, about the achievements of the students, about the happenings all around, and any special event which has happened should be told to the students during the assembly time. And this is the time where the stories from our ancient scriptures should also be narrated to the students when we are saying rootedness in India or Indian culture. So this is a good platform from where we can disseminate this kind of information and knowledge to the students. the recess time, how relaxed the children are. Are we as teachers taking care of whether the children are eating properly, whether they are bringing healthy food, or every day they are bringing a packet of chips? That should be discouraged. In Bhavans, we are not having canteens, so we do not have that kind of a problem where the students generally go and eat those fried things and other things, junk food. But recess time is also should be the relaxed time with some music played, children enjoying their food and talking to each other, maybe talking to the teachers as well. Games and sports is another important area where the emphasis should be laid, and we should be giving equal importance to games and sports. The other subject teachers should also feel importance of that. It is generally a tussle between the subject teachers and the sports teachers, because maybe sometimes the subject teachers are wanting the child to be in the class because some important topic is going on, and maybe it is a difficult concept to understand, but the child is interested in the cricket match which is going on the field, or maybe the basketball match which is going. So equal importance be given, because healthy mind resides in a healthy body. We all know that. Engaging with parents, families, and community, that we have discussed partly. Community engagement, some awareness practices or awareness campaigns which we are having, that is there. How we are helping the community that
वन लीडर तो उसके नाम उसके नाम पे
anything, sir,
नाराबाजी
which you wish to say? Should I stop? Anyway, so the community outreach should not be only limited to the maybe the campaigns which we are having, or the awareness nukkad nataks which we perform on the streets. We should take up maybe some adoption of the schools should be a good start, or each one teach one. We can have a community around where the students can go and teach the underprivileged children. And there are a number of other community engagements which we should be doing. In our school, we have the community outreach club where we are taking care of the birds, and then during the Sankranti time, we have a camp put up for rescuing these birds. And these kind of community outreach programs, maybe one Mahotsavs, which was close to Munshi-ji's heart, that should also be taken into consideration. Inclusion and participation of all. Inclusion does not only mean the CWSN students, and it is that all students of a particular class or segment are given equal opportunities to participate in different activities, whether it is cultural or sports activities. They should be given equal chances. And that is why we should have number of category wise, we should have a number of events planned during the session, so that all students should get chance to participate. Now, what are the other practices for good school culture? How can we develop a good school culture? We should first of all have a shared vision of the school that I mentioned earlier also, and common values. That is what we should first have. And we should bring it to the domain of each community member of the school, that this is our vision, we are working towards that. We are having child at the center. We are working towards the growth of the child, towards the well-being of that child. So that first of all should we have a shared vision, and we should lay equal emphasis on developing cognitive competencies and desired values in our students. These are different values which we talk about time and again: empathy and respect, responsibility, swachhata, respect for environment, honesty, integrity, then patriotism, tolerance, peace, rootedness and pride in India, justice, equity, fairness, respect for all, seva, helpfulness, rational thoughts and scientific temper, creativity and imagination, hard work and commitment, courage and resilience. These are the values which should be inculcated in our students. But how do we do that? It is through these assembly talks. It is through the activities which we are having in the auditorium. It is through the class talks which we are having, through the activities which we are planning for the children. These are the subject activities. We talk about the interdisciplinary projects. Have we ever thought that before taking the students to any kind of a visit, have we planned beforehand that these are the learning outcomes with which we are taking our children out? That should be decided beforehand. Generally, in these Dashera holidays, we take the children out for the school trips. Are we planning that before they go, they should be given this task that these are your learning outcomes and you should be having these things done when you are going out for this trip. And the tasks which you give to the children could include a kind of podcast which they have after they come back from there. It could be some blog which they write. It could be some documentary which they make. So what are the tasks which you have given to the children? Because when you have told them beforehand, they will go with that insight and there they will be clicking photographs, making videos, thinking about that activity, that task which they have to complete after coming back to the school. So every activity which we are doing in the school should include some kind of values, life skills, and some maybe the vision which we are working for. We all want to transform the school culture, and transformation, as we are saying, why transforming? Because with the advent of NEP, NCFS has given us the guidelines. Then how we can move forward? What are the different challenges which we might have, which we have to overcome, which we have to think about how to overcome these challenges? Some of them are listed here: the resistance to change. We as human beings have a particular kind of belief system or a kind of behavior which we are having, the kind of values which we are having. They have not been, inculcated in us in a day or two. It is our habits which we are having, our behavior, our environment from where we have learned or we have lived in, that we have this kind of a personality which we resist to change. But change is the need of the hour. Change is constant. That is what we say. We will have to change and we will have to exert ourselves towards transforming, or this kind of a transformation from rote learning to this activity-based, project-based learning, experiential learning. All these words we are thinking about, talking about, but then we have to implement. It is we teachers who would be implementing them in our school. So that resistance should be dropped and we should all start working towards this transformation. Staff and students have a particular belief system, prevailing cultural practices in the families and societies. In the school, we are saying we should have gender equality. And that should be taken care of when we are planning our lessons, when we are talking to the children, and when we are setting the question paper. We should keep a balance when we are writing, say, Amit has so many, say, cows. In a maths question, we are starting with that. The next question comes with Shankar. Next question comes with some other male name. So are we keeping that balance between even the names of the students which we are writing in our question paper, or when we are delivering to the students in the classroom, are we taking care of what we are speaking, whether we are saying that generally it so happens that he must have done this. So we should drop that. And at home, maybe in the school we are talking about gender equality, but at home, Dadi is favoring the boy, then the girl. बड़ा लड्डू लड़के को देना है और छोटा लड़की को देना है, अभी भी कुछ घरों में चलता है. So that becomes a conflict for the child, that here I am being told that gender equality should be taken care of, but at home this is what is happening. So that also is a hindrance in the values which we are wanting to develop or inculcate in the children. Then there may be some cases of inadequate resources. When we talk about the Finnish education, which is considered to be the best these days, and from quite some time when we had that PISA result, you must be knowing that when that PISA result had come, this Finnish education and every educator wanted to go for exploring as to how they are teaching students, that the students are doing so well. And by the way, if I should not be, you are all educators must be knowing, PISA is the program for international student assessment. And these assessments were done for 15-year-old students to find out how the students are using their ability to read and that of the mathematics and science knowledge and skills to meet the real life challenges. The paper is set in that manner. And Finland was the topper in that school, the students of Finland. So what is so special they are doing in their schools? It is from quite some time they are they have implemented the experiential learning. Many a times the students in a week, I was talking to one acquaintance, those who had shifted to Finland because of some other reason. One reason was that the Finland education for their son will be the best. And they found out some maybe employment there and they shifted over there. So they were sharing that in a week, at least 2 times the children are taken out for the trips. When they are going out in the public transport, we all know the European public transport and outside, it is quite good. And how you would be entering that public vehicle, how you would be behaving with the children, how you would be behaving with the elders in that transport or in that maybe bus or train. So all that experientially they are being taught. And you can imagine if the children are going out for learning twice a week or thrice a week, what kind of an exposure they might be having. Then, as I said, many of the educators had gone there. I was seeing a video where some Indian educator had gone there and he was interviewing some children or a teacher in some Finland village school. And it is not different in village school or a city school. Equal facilities are given because for those facilities, parents are not being charged. It is the government who is responsible for the children's education, and it is the second highest allocation in the budget which is there for education in Finland. So there, the teacher was saying that because I knew you would be coming here, so as the home assignment I had given to them, that how would you be interacting with a stranger or a guest who you are meeting for the first time? So children have designed, they have framed questions to ask from this Indian educator, and they were asking questions, and it was a third grade class or fourth grade class where the small children, they were asking those questions from the educator. they were learning language through music. The teacher was saying that this is some English song, which is because the official language there is Finnish language and the Dutch they have. So he said that it is English language is being learned by this music, and in the class, every student had a flute to play. They were playing flute, and they were those wordings were in English. So he was of the opinion that with this song, they will be learning some English words, and that is how it is, the education is being imparted. When you are teaching, say, the geography, the teacher had brought an orange, and children were asked, I mean, the number of oranges as per the class. And each child was having an orange and was drawing the map, the world map onto the orange. And then it was peeled off, and then it was made flat on the surface. And that is how they were learning about the different places. So when we talk about inadequate resources, maybe we are having a big class size in Indian scenario, and we might not be having that kind of resources that every child has a flute or every child has a guitar. So, but with proper planning, we can bring about this transformation. Then sustaining momentum, that I said initially, we start in the beginning of the session, we start with the zeal, but then somehow that josh that goes down as the session progresses. So that josh should always be high, I would say. Then conflict resolution should be there. It could be between students, it could be between the staff. That should be resolved very quickly, because otherwise we would not be working as a team, and then that will be harming the progress of the school. Collaboration. We are learning from nature. It is about the learning spaces which we are creating in the school. That also comes in the practices which we are having for a good school culture. It is not only the classroom, we should develop some learning spaces outside the classroom also. It could be a garden, it could be a field as well. Because the children learn better and much more from nature. And that is why in Finland, they start their formal education from the age of 9. Till then, children are with their parents, and then they are learning there. I think, Dipali ma'am, do I have some more time? I'll quickly go through this, because this is what the planning process which we are having. The school processes which we are having. One, there are 3 main categories, you can say: curricular processes. And these are the things, the timetable which we are setting now. Different types of timetables are there. The timetables, the general timetable, then you would be having the audiovisual class timetable, language lab timetable, then you would be having the lab timetable. And then you would have a free timetable. Those who put substitution, they would have their own free timetable. So there are a number of timetables which we are having in the school. The school assemblies, library plays a very important role in the growth of the children, and the librarians should encourage children to read biographies of the important personalities and the great personalities, I would say. Student committees, which we are having in the school, they are teaching them the responsibility and taking decision. All these things in the school committees which we are having, we would be inculcating in our children. Celebrations and events, we have discussed this. And the use of technology in school is very, very important. Each teacher should be tech savvy, because that is mandatory in any field. If you are a teacher, you ought to know how to use technology in education. And nowadays we are having so many MOOCs. We should enroll in the different courses. If you do not want to spend, there are many free courses which Google and Microsoft, they keep on rolling out, and we must learn technology, use of technology in education. It is not optional now. Curriculum associated processes are about the FDPs, that is faculty development programs, parent and community engagement. Now, FDPs, when we are saying faculty development, it should not only be the mandatory CBSE workshops which we are having, but otherwise also teachers should themselves, or the human resource department of the school, they should plan out as to what is the need of the teachers, and accordingly need-based faculty development programs should be planned for the session. Community engagement we had discussed. Then we have organizational processes, these processes that enable the planning for the smooth functioning of the above two processes. For example, the school development plan, an annual calendar plan for mobilizing and allocating resources, data management and reporting, forum for resolution of conflicts and disciplinary issues, and processes for safety related issues. Safety and security for the children and staff is very, very important aspect of the school culture. How safe the students feel inside the premises, that also has to be taken care of. So in safety and security, ensuring students' physical, emotional, and intellectual safety. Prevention of bullying, should be a bullying cell in the school, or maybe the discipline department, which takes care of all these cases. Prevention of sexual harassment in the school, that should be prevented. Cyber safety, again, a very important aspect, which time and again students should be told that what digital footprints they are leaving, that will be forever and may hinder in their career growth later on. So they should be made aware of the hazards of not being safe when they are using internet.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, I guess you'll have to wrap up in another 5
Yeah.
minutes. It's 5:14 already.
Okay. So this is for the improving the school culture and processes, that we have to have us to establish a clear vision and values, foster open communication, promote inclusivity and diversity, support teachers' growth and well-being, empower students' voice and feedback mechanism, and build positive relationships, enhance parental and community engagement, and monitor and evaluate processes. So that is what I had to bring to you in regard to school culture, how we should be improving upon this. And this is just for the recapitulation that these are the topics which we had taken into account in this presentation. And I would conclude by saying, don't be afraid of change, because it's leading you to a new beginning. Thank you all. Ruchi ma'am, I think we don't have time for the video now.
Ma'am, maybe 2-3 minutes, it's okay, or shall we leave it?
I
Dipali
think,
ma'am, a video of 2-3 minutes?
As
ma'am, will be waiting for the next session. So I should not be, I should value the time of the others. But Dipali ma'am, I had started around 4:17. So I am
Yes.
within time.
Yeah. So I guess if sir permits us, so we can play the video. Which is the session. Sir?
I think we can start with the next one. I would share the link. Ruchi ma'am can share the link of that video and you can watch on YouTube at home.
Sure,
In the
ma'am.
chat box, Ruchi ma'am can post the link and you can watch the video, which says about how the school culture should change from teaching students what is written in the syllabus, and beyond that, beyond the grades, what all is expected of the teachers to check and take care that grows. And that is what the learning and the growth of the child will be. So the video is about that. I would appreciate if you watch that video. Will give you an insight into how school culture is very, very important, and how we can maintain or improve that in our schools. So thank you all for patient listening. If you have any questions, if we do have any time for that, because it's a very general topic. We all know what we are doing on day-to-day basis in the school. That is what it is, only revision maybe, which we are doing.
Thank
So
you, ma'am.
thank you, Dr. Sharma. Thank you, Dipali ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am, for discussing the importance of school culture and emphasizing how a positive and inclusive environment can significantly enhance the students' engagement in school. Ma'am has left the house open for questions. And before I invite all others, we have a very distinguished and accomplished personality with us, Ma'am Indu Kaushik, former Deputy Commissioner of KV Sangathan. Ma'am has an extensive experience of contributing significantly to administrative and development of Kendriya Sangathan. So, ma'am, if you can enlighten us with your vast pool of knowledge and initiate the discussion further, we'll really be honored to listen to your thoughts and insights. Ma'am,
Thank
Indu
you,
Kaushik.
ma'am, giving this opportunity. It's also very, I'm Indu Kaushik, as you introduced me. And I am really very, very thankful to Ajayshree ma'am. She gave such an insight that I was so mesmerized with her presentation, as well as the points she was putting in, that I went back to my memories of when I was principal and I managing all these things with zeal and enthusiasm and bringing all together, whether it's the students, teachers, parents, community, everybody at one platform and bringing the better results. So we have been having a common journey, Dr. Sharma and myself having very common system to share. But I really enjoyed the presentation. One thing I would like to add, ma'am has covered most of the points. One thing I would like to add, there is a common word you may be knowing, Bala. Bala is building as a learning aid. Building as a learning aid is a very, very wide concept where the design of building, the presentation of the building, the corridors, self-speaking corridors are very, they are really teaching to this. They are the corners, there are the corners of learning for the students, whether they are free or they are engaged or they are in any other mood. But whenever they walk to the corridors, they learn many things which we can't teach them through classrooms or through books. So the open learning system is to be established in the school, whether it is the mathematics corners, science corners, language corners, or shloka corners, Sanskrit corners, because this is one of the language which is being not being taught properly in the Vidyalayas because of our system. It is taking a back seat. So it is to be emphasized, and by making these learning corners and building as learning aid, we can enhance the learning of students and make the school environment interesting for everyone, whether it is a visitor, student, teacher, or the parents or community person. So very well thought presentation and all points have been covered. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to listen and again to revise my system of working. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thanks, Ajayshree ma'am. You have presented very well all these points and all key points which are to be taken care of in the school for running a system systematically. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am, for the time you have taken to join us and support our discussions. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. And I would like to thank Mrs. Sharma for her insightful presentation and the further, clear strategies that she has shared with us. And for
Yes.
that, I would like to, for formal expression of our gratitude, I would like to invite Srimati Surbhi Saxena, ma'am, to convey our thanks to both our speaker as well as presiding guest for their invaluable insights and expertise. Ma'am Surbhi Saxena.
Thank you, Dipali ma'am. Namaskar, everyone. On behalf of Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan Vidya Ashram Pratapnagar, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to Dr. Anil Kumar Sharma, Regional Education Officer, Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan Sangathan Delhi Kendra. Sir's tireless effort, unwavering support and dedication in educating us on these vital cross-cutting themes are truly admirable. We sincerely thank you, sir, for your insightful contribution and for continually providing us with opportunities to learn and grow. My sincere thanks, and I'm grateful to Ma'am Indu Kaushik, former Deputy Commissioner, KVS Headquarters, for taking out her precious time for us and for sharing her insight and the experience. One thing you shared and we got energized, that Bala thing which you shared, ma'am. Thank you so very much for your time. Thank you, ma'am. I also extend my special thank to Mrs. Ajayshree Sharma, ma'am, Principal Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan Vidya Ashram Pratapnagar, who her insights into the importance of cultivating a positive school culture and refining our processes have been invaluable. We are experiencing it every day in our school, and I'm thankful to her. Ma'am, emphasis on nurturing relationships, inclusivity, and holistic development of students resonate deeply in our shared goals. Thank you so much, ma'am. My sincere thanks to all the educators, participants for joining the event, and I'm also thankful to the organizing committee for their meticulous planning and dedication, ensuring that the event runs smoothly. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.